Hello ladies and gents, this is Jordan Sather here for the February 20th disclosure report. Fairly impromptu one, but I had some things that I came across that needed to be shared, so here we go. This morning I found an article by NPR, right, a standard corporate media outlet that was discussing Antarctica, and the headline of this article literally stated why NASA is exploring alien worlds in Antarctica, and they were following a NASA JPL doctoral student and how he had been in Antarctica recently testing robotics down in the ice and actually in the geysers themselves, and he was testing robots in Antarctica in what they claim to prepare for alien worlds. So if that's not some type of disclosure, I don't know what is. Basically in this article it stated how we knew there were oceans on moons in this solar system and there's probably life there, so we're testing these robots here to go search for it there. So very interesting development, especially in regards to Antarctica, because as I've stated on this channel before, and as various secret space program whistleblowers like Corey Goode have said, the powers that be are setting up Antarctica to pull as a partial disclosure psychological operation if they need to. So I think that's one card that the cabal or the powers that be have ready to play if need be, if these mass arrests of the pedophiles and the human traffickers and all that jazz really started to ramp up. I mean, it's already ramped up, right? We've had 1,500 arrests in the first few weeks of the Trump presidency, so it's really ramping up, and I think this is a card. The Antarctica ancient civilizations that they've uncovered under the ice, they're using as a card. So the Alliance, right, that's kind of like their false flag that they're threatening to play, per se. So I think in their mainstream media outlets, they keep flaunting that card, and this is an example. Now, also, 4 days ago, on many mainstream media outlets like CNN, National Geographic, and a bunch of them, were talking about Antarctic record ice lows, which I just found all of these news articles this morning, and I wanted to talk about that because that's very interesting. This is complete stark contrast to NASA studies that CNN directly reported on that came out just a year ago discussing Antarctic record ice highs. So I don't know how it flipped in a year to being low, whether it's actually low, or whether this is just some made-up information. And if it is actually low, whether that Antarctic ice low might have been artificially created, who knows? But the mainstream media is literally reporting on ice lows in Antarctica. Couple that with this massive ice shelf that's supposedly breaking off, again, whether it's artificially helped to break off or not. What I think we're seeing and what I think these powers that be are really prepping our minds for, they're saying, hey, we're testing for alien life in Antarctica, aka there is alien life in Antarctica. We're seeing a bunch of ice melt away and this ice shelf break off. So remember, those camera crews of CNN and CBS News were just in Antarctica a week ago. So what if we just happened to stumble upon some ancient civilization that was uncovered when this ice melted or this ice sheet broke off? You see? You see that partial narrative that they're setting up for? They're setting up for like they stumbled upon it randomly. When, remember, David Wilcock, Corey Goode, and all them have been saying that they knew about this and they've been uncovering it for a decade and a half. Very important to understand. Very important to understand the reality of what's really going on in Antarctica. And also realize the Nazis have been there since World War II, right? There's a lot of stuff in Antarctica we haven't been told, and a long history of it that we need to familiarize ourselves with, to make sure that we're not caught up in that partial disclosure nonsense if they try and pull it. So that's one reason I am stressing this narrative, because it has to do with everything, right? We can't separate the Antarctica situation, extraterrestrial disclosure, the UFO issue from the Pizzagate and the pedophile arrest. They're one and the same. It's all the same issue when you start connecting the dots, right? We have such a compartmentalized mindset in this society because that's how the powers that be have groomed us with our academia systems to think, but we must think holistically with this, right? Pizzagate has to do with everything else. It has to do with the ET issue, the history we've been denied, the suppression of all the sciences, the deep Luciferian cult ruling over this planet, right? It's all connected. So anyway, that's what I wanted to throw out there about Antarctica. And also, lastly, forgot to mention this, NASA is holding a press conference in 2 days, right? It's January 20th right now. They're holding it on the 22nd, discussing what they so call exoplanets that, we don't know what they're going to talk about, but it's going to be something regarding life outside of our solar system is claimed to be. So this could be very interesting few days and also a few weeks, depending on what happens, how quick it happens. So anyway, brush yourselves up on the perspective. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting me as well. Anybody who's donated, PayPal, Patreon, or simply share this information, I thank you. So stay tuned for more. Peace.